Love is in the air. Let's put together this heart block. And wait, and that's the heart block, which is love and hugs. See how far we get. So it came from this book. I like to give credit where credit is due. All right, so to make that heart block, I start off by cutting a piece of fabric. Can't give you the sizes because it's not my pattern, but I can show you how to do it. So I cut my rectangle. I went ahead and cut my, sorry, I have so much stuff here, my squares as per the pattern. I also drew the line from one end to the other, and then I drew a secondary line, and I'll explain. So I went ahead, I'm going to pretend that I'm putting this on here. So I would take my rectangle and put down my side, and I would, which we'll do it on this side, I put down my side, here we go, and I put it so that where I have, oops, see, I put it wrong. That's why you have to look again. Where I have the diagonal line and I would fold it, that would kind of give me where that goes. I hope I'm explaining this right. But that secondary line is here because it will make, once you cut it off, a bonus HST. So right now, I had already done this side, same method, and we're not sewing on both sides. We are only sewing on the line for that center one and also for the other one, for the bonus one. So I'm going to come in here and I am going to sew. So I've sewn here, as you can see, and then now I'm going to go sew the second one. And you're going to do this on both sides of the heart. What I mean by, you're going to do this method with the square on this side, which I had done, and on this side. But here you're only going to sew on the two lines that I drew with my pencil. Then I'm going to come in here. Here we go. And you can use your rotary. I just use a pair of scissors. And you cut in between that space. And then this is what you have. Now, I will be pressing this. I'm going to bring up this so you could see. I set my seam. I like to come in and open that up a bit. And there you go. I just press, that's the back. So now I have that. I'm gonna, I had done a second one, so I will press the second one as well right here, so we can have two going so far. All right, so we have that. Next step. So now I happen to have two bottoms. This is the bottom of the heart. This here is our bonus HST. With the bonus HST, the way I deal with this is I set my seam, but this I am going to open the seam up because I opened all the other ones because I wasn't sure what I was doing with it. Now I do know what I'm doing with it, but it's okay. You didn't necessarily need to, but sometimes when you don't know, it's just easier to open up the seam. So I put that aside. Next step is we need to do the tops. So the tops of the heart looked like this. This is a top, and this is a top. How we get that is we take our two rectangles that we would cut to size. It's in the pattern. And then our side triangles that we would cut. And we would place one of the triangles on here. Now, you can draw a line from here to here and then sew on the line. I happen to have this Sew Steady glider mat, and it has a line right here. Everything is placed for me. So since this is a small one, I kind of just come on over, follow my tip to the tip of this glider mat, and I just make sure that I keep my tip where that line is. And then we have a line, and I have a line on this side. I just do one. If you wanted to do a bonus HST, you can do that, and then you would have like 1.5 inches, little teeny tiny half square triangles, but that's not how I roll. That's way too small for me. I know all you out there do it, but I don't. It just goes in my stuffies for my beds, because I make beds for little doggies and kitties and other animals that could use a doggy bed with all my little scraps like that. So I'm going to come in and iron, and I can iron both sides. I set it. I just kind of go over. Sorry if I have my mouth open. It's because I'm still congested and having a hard time with my nose there. Again, I cut about 1/4 inch away. So this is what it would look like once you cut 1/4 inch. And this is what it looks like when it's ironed. All right. So now I have these little triangles, which you can do something with. It's going to go in a doggy bed. Or I do sewing with the kids. Actually, this will probably be big enough so that I'll do that. And I teach the kids to do collage quilting. I give them a piece of paper. I put in steam to steam on there, and then I let them go ahead and place all their fabric, all my little fabric scraps or shapes or whatever I have, and then I go ahead and fuse it, and they just love it. And they make like little mug rugs for their parents or guardians. So now I have 2 of these rectangles with the corners, and now one of them, if I keep them like this where they're both out, they don't interlock. So what I do is I come back in, and basically I change one direction. So I will come back in, squash that back down, and then flip it in. And then this way it will nest, interlock, nest, whatever word you like to use. I'm not sure if I'm using the right word. So that one goes to the right, and then the other one goes to the left. And now, wait, what did I do? Oh, you know what? I already done that. I pre-did it. This is what happens when you pre-do things. So now I have one seam going this way and the other seam going the other way. So now it should nest. And you know what? At this point, yeah, I throw a pin in it. I want it to nest really nice, so I throw a pin in it. All right. And then if you open it, there you go. So I come over here, and what I did do is I did open up this seam just to give it a little less bulk. I'm not a big fan of opening up all my seams, but there is a time and place for it. This happens to be a time and place for it in my view. So there we go. And here you go. This is what it looks like with it open. So now I have my tops and my bottoms. Here's another bottom I have. I just didn't put this other piece to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that while I have you here. Oops. You know what? No, I'm not. I'll do it later. So now I have bottoms and tops. And what I will do is I will match. So I'll say that's a good match. And nope, I'll take that back. I'm going to say this is a good match. And this is a good match. And this one will go with the other one. So now I have my top and my bottom. And I will match the one end to the other. If you want to pin, you can. If I do pin, I normally pin in the center. If you want, you can throw another one here at the end. If you don't want to pin, that's fine too. Do what makes you happy. Quilting should bring you joy. If quilting brings you aggravation, I don't know. I don't know about that, unless you like to be aggravated. But for me, I would probably not do it then. Or change how I look at things with quilting. And you can chain piece. Actually, I should have showed you that because I do a lot of chain piecing. A lot of you ask me, wow, how do you do quilts so fast? I do a lot of chain piecing, and I do a lot of like the same step at the same time. I pick and choose when I pin, when I open seams, when I don't open seams. Sorry, my machine is loud. My Aria went down, and so I'm dealing with my Pfaff Grand Quilter, which is great because it is such a workhorse. I never have problems with it, but it is a bit loud. All right, so here we go. I have my top, my sewn seam. I set it. I flip it over. These blocks are pretty big. These are pretty big blocks. And there you go. We have our love part. The love part, I love. Now we're going to do our heart part. Or maybe this is kisses. I don't know. I know it's called hugs and kisses, but when I look at a heart, I think of love. There you go. All right, I will put that with my other pile. And let's work on our other part. So this is the finished little tiny hug part. And this is the strip unit you're going to make. And this is how we have the other piece. So I'm going to start from the beginning. We have our one piece and then our background. And then we're going to sew it. And it's sewn already. Didn't feel like you needed to see that. Then I'm going to come here and I'm going to iron it open. And I pressed it to the dark. Then I went ahead and put another background piece to the other side. After I did that, I pressed that in. So now both seams are in to the dark. Now I'm going to make these side pieces that go on to make the cross. I will take one of my pieces there. And did I do that already? I think I did do that already. I did. All right. So that is my side pieces. I'm sorry, I got myself confused there for a second. So now that you have this, you have both sides. It is pressed in, you would take your piece and your rotary mat, your rotary, and your ruler. And you would cut this to the specified measurement in the pattern. I did a little quilty mat because I wanted all these crosses to be different fabrics. So I shortened my my little strip set that I made. All right, now I have my 2 strip sets. And I have, boy, here it is, my piece. So I'm going to take this piece and put it to my strip set piece and sew. Then I'm going to iron it to the dark side, just like I did the other. And put the next piece in. I do try to cut all my threads. And again, I am going to press to the dark side, and this is what it looks like. Okay? Now here we go with these other ones. I had a square that you cut, and it tells you in the book, and then you cut it in 4 and you get triangles like this. What I do is I went ahead, and this is only me, this is what I decided what works for me. I went ahead, and this is my trick for me. Again, you do it how you want. But I took this block and put it in half and gave it a good press, just so that I can mark it. And then I took 2 of these triangles and I did the same thing. I lined them up and I gave them a good press. Now I have everything marked for me. See? Let's see, marked. I take one of these triangles and I go to where they both can meet and fold in. I take a pin, because this is a time I feel like you need to pin, and I do the other side. Same thing, I pin. This way I can get this right in the center. So I'm gonna get my little snips. Come here and I sew, and then I snip off these dog ears. I just snip them right off. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to press this. And I press this out. And I press this out. It's kind of like the square and the square measure block we're making here, but with a cross in the center. Now I take my center piece. Again, I would go ahead and press that so that I get a little crease there. I would take my 2 triangles, 1, 2. Same thing. I press it. Again, this is what I like to do. You don't have to do this. I find where I press both spots, throw a pin, go to the other side, find where I pressed, throw a pin in, and then sew. I then, oops, look at this. I have this long string. So we'll take that off because it just adds bulk into stuff. I'm going to go ahead and press this out. And there you go. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. I come in. I actually don't trim these dog ears off. I'll tell you why. Because I found that these have to be a specific measurement, and I have to come in here and trim anyway. So I go ahead and trim this. All right, and then flip this over. You know, if this was where I had to worry about points, I would be a little bit maybe disappointed with the pattern because you do cut off some points at some times, but you don't notice it because everything is background fabric, so it all blends in. It doesn't affect any of the color. So now you have this part. Now you're going to go ahead and in the book, it gives you the measurements for the side triangles. Squares. Squares, hello, squares. And we're going to go put in 2 of these side squares. On both sides. And then I'm going to press these out. See? All right, there's a little string. I'm going to snip that off. Then there's 2 more rectangles, big ones, right here. And there'll be specks in the pattern. It'll let you know. And now I'm going to come in and take this out, put this down, and sew this. Then I would come here, press your seam down, press this out as well. Once you press this out, this is what you get. You get one side, this is the back side, and you would go ahead and throw a 1/4 inch. Of course, I am sewing, I never said that this whole video, I am sewing with a 1/4 inch seam. Again, I'm going to set my seam, press out, or press towards the light, however you want me to word it. And there you go. And this is what the back looks like. Now that I have these, the number is in the book, and I have these, the number is in the book, you go ahead and you start laying out. So let me take you to the layout. I'm going to close everything up because I am going to turn you that way. Ready? Here we go. Here's the reveal. Here we go. The reveal. There are some of the blocks, and there's more of the blocks. So we will do a better reveal, but basically I put them out on my design wall. Let's see, put that there. See if that's helpful. Let's see, up there and down there. And then I proceed to put these together. And that will be a video, another video, because I use a product called Marley's pins. I just received these in my Soft Squares Advent A box. And I have found that they work great. And it's called Marley's Numbered Pins, Organized Quilt Blocks, Rows, and Columns. So I will be using those to keep myself together. Hope everyone has a fabulous day. Take care of yourself. Pass it forward. And if you like my videos, please subscribe and like my channel. And like my videos as well. Everyone, bye. Have a great day. And if you're in the storm's path, I hope everybody stays safe. Bye.